This is your pre-lab for the testing waters lab. Here you see all the materials that we should need for the lab. Let's talk about each one. First, you'll need a hot plate, ruler, spring, mineral, tap, and distilled water tap you don't see here, 4 250 milliliter beakers, 4 pieces of pH paper along with the pH indicator chart, a 25 milliliter graduated cylinder, 4 paper cups per person. So this lab you'll be doing groups. Each person needs to have 4 paper cups. You need liquid soap, a wax pencil, or you can use a wet erase or dry erase pencil, and a test tube rack along with 4 test tubes and stoppers. So that is your materials that you need for the testing waters lab. The first thing that you're going to have to do is copy down this data table to make sure that you have it in your observations so you're ready to go when you do the lab. Okay, step 1. What you're going to do is you're going to label each one of the beakers A, B, C, and D. These 250 milliliter beakers. You can use your wet erase marker and put it right here. A. You'll do that with each one of the beakers. A, B, C, and D. Then what you're going to do is make sure that you fill to the 100 milliliter line, and you're going to use each one of your samples using the data table, and you're going to pour it in up to that 100 milliliter line. Then what you're going to do with each one of your samples is use your hot plate one at a time, and you're going to boil them. So you place this on top of here and heat it. Now, keep in mind, this part I'm going to do. I'm going to be boiling a sample and everybody's going to use the same data. I'm going to heat this until 20 milliliters of the water remains for each one of the each one of the beakers, and I'm not going to let the water completely boil away. We are not going to touch the hot plate or beakers. That is for me, and I will use all the appropriate heatware needed. Once it cools, we're going to look for any solids that make the water cloudy. Okay, so inside this beaker, you're going to look and examine and see if there's any solids that you can see, and you're going to use a rating of 1 through 4 and record it on your data table. 1 has the fewest and 4 has the most visible solids. Next, you're going to take your 4 test tubes and label them A, B, C, and D respectively. You can use your wet erase marker right on the side of the beaker. A, B, C, and D. You are going to pour 10 milliliters of each water sample from the source bottle into the correct tube. So the original gallon that we used, you're going to use that and fill this up to your 10 milliliter line. And if you look here, these test tubes are already labeled. So once you have the water in all 4 of the beakers, what you're going to do is take one of these pH papers and you're going to test the water. So you have 4 different samples, you're going to have 4 different pH papers. You're going to unscrew them, dip it in, put the cap back on, and what you're going to do is then match it up with the respective color that it turns for the acidity. We're measuring the acidity for each one of these samples. So once you're done with the first one and you record it in your table, you're going to do the same thing for the next 3 samples. Next, you're going to take your liquid soap and you're going to add 2 drops of your liquid soap to test tube A. You'll put your cap back on and you're going to shake it 30 times. Then what you're going to do is you'll take your ruler in centimeters and you'll measure how high up those suds go. You'll repeat this for B, C, and D in your test tubes. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a small cup, write your name on it, and put sample A. You're going to do the same thing with each one of the cups, your name, and sample B, C, or D. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your cup and you're going to put a little bit of tap water, mineral water, spring water, and distilled water in each of the respective cups. Remember to pour directly from your source. Don't go out of the test tube. Do not go out of the beaker. That's not safe protocol. Then what you're going to do is you're going to taste it. And you're going to use one or more of these words: salty, flat, bitter, metallic, refreshing, and tasteless. Do not conduct the taste test in the lab part of the classroom. Go to the lecture part. Make sure you clean up and discard after every use. Once you're done with tap water or A, you'll do the same for B, C, and D. And don't forget to fill out your data table. So that's your pre-lab with all the instructions, and everything you need should be here. Use this to make your scientific method, put it in a blog form, and then don't forget to submit that onto your Google Classroom.